Okay, I've got my palette or I've got my canvas set up with two colors, a blue and a red. Just use my brush tool, which was super simple. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at two other tools. And the first one is going to look like this teardrop right up here. As you can see, it's a teardrop. It's right down below the paint bucket. It's the blur tool. And the blur tool is a really cool tool. What it's going to do is it's going to blur the edges of whatever I paint. What I would want to use this for is maybe I'm painting something in the background and I don't want to distract from my actual focal point or my composition. So I might want to blur it out so it looks like it's more farther in the background, like it's farther away. So what I'm going to do is the only thing I have to do is I have to pick a brush. I can pick my brush over here. I can pick it over here. Usually I just come up here and pick it because it's super simple. And I got a 200. I'm going to go a little bit bigger so it's easy to see. And the next thing I want to do is I want to go to my strength. My strength is 100%. I'm going to keep it at 100 because that means it's going to blur out really quickly. If I don't want it to blur out that much, I can mess around with it with the 50% and 25%. But let's see what 100% does, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and hold down my stylus or my mouse. I click and I hold and I go back and forth. And you're already starting to see a blur. And notice I can click it again and look at how much it's blurring, okay? Notice compared to this side, really, really blurred out. Let's go back to the other side now, or let's see what the other side, and let's see what 50% looks like. So I say I'm going to do 48, and notice I can go back and forth. It's not blurring out as bad. And notice the difference between 100% and 48%. And that's how it is. So if you want something blurred out, that's what you definitely want to do. Also note where, I'm going to make this a little smaller so I can point it to you. Notice this line right here. When it blurs the edges. So the two colors are actually crossing over, and you'll notice there's a little bit of purple there. It's almost kind of like it's blending, but it's not, but similar to blending, okay? So that's one way to do something like that. Let's go back and let's get the blurs out of here. Now it's nice and crisp. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a smudge tool. Now we have our smudge tool, and again, come up to my brush, pick whatever I want. My hardness will be fine. I'm good with my size. Go a little bit bigger. And again, we're going to look at the strength. We're going to start with 100%. Now, smudging is where I'm taking the paint, or wherever I start, the blue or the red, I'm going to take the color and I'm going to smudge it over the other color. So I'm in the red, I push up, and notice my red goes over the blue. And it literally goes as far as you want because it's at 100%. Same thing when I start with the blue, it goes over the red. And all I'm doing is moving the paint wherever I started over whatever it needs to be done. Mind you, I can go up into the white, no problem either. So that's 100%. Let's look at some of the differences now. So let's put that as 100%. I can go off the page with it, okay? Let's go down now to say 80. Come here, and there's 80. And notice it fades out, and I picked up some of the blue. Because my red's fading out, I pick up blue, okay? So that's another way we can do it too. 100% I've always got red. It's like a full brush. This is where it's like I get some of the red, and then I start picking up some of the blue, and notice I finish up with the blue. Let's try 60. Come here, push. Notice the blue actually stops, and I pick up the blue right there. And notice, let's go back down to 40. 39 is good enough. And again, just a little and a little. Now, mind you, I can go back down the opposite way. And I'm kind of getting the same results. Notice you'll see at the edges, they're blurry. It's because I'm only using so much pressure, and it actually kind of blends out, and that's what we're looking for, okay? And mind you, I can even go down to say 18 or 17%, and I barely make a dent. Let's go back down this way, and that's how it works. Now, I'm going to go back and get rid of all these. Your brush also makes a difference. I'm using a circular brush. Let's go ahead and let's go back to my brushes over here. Get rid of this one. Come over here. Say I want a brush like my favorite brush. It has a totally different kind of feel. Let's go to like say 50, okay? Come up here. Notice the different feel I'm getting because I have a different brush. Or maybe I pick a brush like this. I get different feels. So look what I can do and look at the effects I can get with just a smudge tool. I've actually taken these nice crisp lines and I've kind of made something that's a little fuzzy. And I can keep going back and forth, but notice I'm not mixing, I'm just pushing the color back and forth. Those are two tools that you'll also need for this painting unit too.